excited for this today. We were talking about life after medication, and I am on medication for bipolar 2, which has been a really interesting journey. I started my medication in September. That is what, 8 months? Oh my god, it's almost been a year. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's been 8 months, which is so wild. I remember first getting on medication and just being so excited for it, working in my life. Again, this is not sponsored at all. I know some people hear me talk about medication as a spiritual person and they feel so strongly about it, or they think I'm like promoting like big pharma or whatever. And I'm like, no, I just genuinely know that there are other people just like me who also use medication, and it's important that we talk about it and discuss it. I don't have any agendas with this. It's just something that I chose to do. I spent a long period of my spiritual journey in my life being like, yeah, holistic, forget medication. Like, I can do this by myself. Like, I had such an ableist mindset where it was like, I need to do this by myself. I can do this by myself. I'm stronger if I do this by myself. I don't need any of that to assist me or whatever. And I didn't even realize how far underwater I was. Life was so emotionally tumultuous. Things were so heavy. There was always something going on. And I didn't really realize that wasn't how life had to be. I didn't realize life had to be so hard. I was trying so hard. Like, really, I was doing a lot. I had to try hard to just stay above water and to survive in some way, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And I would always get thrown off my spiritual regimens, and it was just difficult for me, spiritual side. And I'm very devoted, which is cool because my medication has really assisted me in being so devoted now. But I had already started my devotional practices, my morning routines, my nighttime routines, interestingly enough, because I was in therapy. And in therapy, she noticed that I had bipolar tendencies. She just didn't really bring it up for a year or so. I don't think that was intentional, but she was just like looking at the tracking, and she was like, it seems like we work really hard on just finding stable ground for you. And that's true. There would be times when I was really good and really on my stuff, and then moments where I just go low. My thing looked like this. And that's a really strong indicator of manic episodes and depressive episodes. And so that is what I was experiencing. But thankfully, up until that exact diagnosis and medication, I had already been gathering the tools to try to level myself out. So I've been doing all of these tools and all of these things long before I started medication. Medication has just really assisted me in staying on them and staying stable so that I'm not necessarily as thrown off. It's helped me be more aware and whatnot. But yeah, I love being spiritual. I love being medicated at the same time. I love holistic methods as well. I personally think that holistic methods are to be, they're more like long-term, helpful, I think they're more helpful in the long run. Like, holistic methods are typically ones that you want to do like every day for a long period of time, and through that time they help you in that way, and so I think that they're still to be used. And then I think that Western medicine is more so for quick things that are needed, like say you need to go into surgery real quick and they're gonna put you under, like stuff like that. I think that medication and all of this stuff can really assist in speeding things up, or just helping you get back to a place where you can actually function, which was what I needed in order to live your life in a healthy way and have the motivation to do so. And so that is why I am on medication. I know that I don't have to explain to anybody that, but this is a whole honest, vulnerable, transparent video, so that is why I am sharing. But I love my medication. I'm very thankful for it. On top of that, it's a privilege. It's a privilege to have access to medication. And a lot of the things that I do are from my ancestors. I have ancestors. We all have ancestors that struggle with mental health. And I have ancestors that just did not have the access to it. And I don't think that's fair, obviously. But it's like, even in the world we are in today, people are failed every single day. Every single day. they don't have access to things, they're thrown into worlds that they don't necessarily want to be in, but they have to be in to survive. And honestly, healthcare is a basic human right. Everybody should receive it, but that's not the case. And so with my medication, with my freaking psychiatrist and therapy, like, I take that serious. That is a privilege. It is a privilege. It's a privilege for me to even know what anxiety is. It's a privilege for me to even know what bipolar is, because so many people don't have the education. Just like it's a privilege for me to be growing towards sexual empowerment and just coming into connection with myself and my period and whatnot. That's a privilege. Things that we don't have education for in America are privileges. And I don't think people understand that. So me being on medication and me being outwardly queer, and not to say everybody has to be outwardly queer, but I do these things in honor of my ancestors. And I think it's really funny to say, just because so many people are like, our ancestors didn't do this and da-da-da. They didn't have the access. They couldn't. It doesn't matter if they wanted to, they couldn't. So with that being said, of course our ancestors were finding different ways. Of course they were doing different things, and their methods and their rituals are so important. Again, holistic, and I think holistic and Western are to be used together simultaneously. But their rituals and methods are so important. But I also think that to deny myself from, you know, modern medicine just because my ancestors didn't, it just doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't personally sit right with me, and I now do things in honor of my ancestors. I want to break many different cycles, and I don't have to struggle. If I don't have to struggle, I know they wouldn't want me to struggle. And so I really just embrace my ancestors and know that, you know, I'm on medication. This is a privilege. I'm in therapy. That's a huge privilege, especially in regards to breaking generational curses. Something that my grandparents, I can't say my grandparents because I don't know for sure, but something that my ancestors just didn't have access to. So I really don't take any of this lightly. It's all a privilege, and I'm thankful. I'm overall thankful. But I've had a really great experience with my medication as well, which I'm also very grateful for. I am on Lamictal, and I started pretty low dosage, and then we kept increasing it just because I have monthly meetings with my psychiatrist, which is also a privilege. And in those meetings, you know, we go over how I'm feeling, what's going on. And it's so weird because looking back, I can see months where I was definitely manic. Like in the beginning when I first started, I was so manic that I felt so good about the medication. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing, da, 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 because I wasn't depressed, because I didn't have that heaviness, that sadness. My mind was so clear, and my mind isn't like as clear as it was, but it is manageable. Like, it's not consuming me anymore. And so that was my first experience with my medication. It cleared up my mind. Like I say all the time, when I started my medication, it was like the intrusive thoughts and the heaviness and everything going on in my mind. It felt like I went from here to the back of my head, all the way to the back of my mind, to where they're not as loud, to where it's not constant talking. It's just I can relax my mind. That was the first thing. It really like relieved me of so much of the back and forth, the overthinking, all of that. And it really relieved that for me. So I was really, really thankful for that. In the beginning, I started to develop a little bit of a rash. It's called the Lamictal rash, but it was just like a few dots, like here and there. It wasn't much. But I started kind of getting a rash. That was my only symptom, which was awesome. Very thankful for that. And then it went away, so I was like very, very thankful for that. But we kept increasing my dosage just to find where the right one is, what the right dose is. And eventually I got to where I am today. And again, we still are adjusting medications at times, but I'm pretty much sticking with the one that I am on right now. And if we need to add, we can add. If we need to, you know, try out a different one, we can. But I really value my medication because life is different. Life is different. First of all, when I first got on medication, I was definitely at my worst. I could not regulate my emotions. Life was tumultuous. Relationships were hard to manage. I kept, you know, I wrote a whole thread. It's like being bipolar, and I was just going through such serious manic episodes that I was traveling impulsively spending way too much money, just doing way too, I was so impulsive, I can't even tell you. Like, whoo, I could not sit my ass down. So after medication, it's like I'm not as impulsive. I'm not just gonna go out and spend money or go out and, you know, eat a ton of food. Like, I'm not gonna do as many impulsive things, and I have the ability now. I'll feel the pull. It won't be like, I need to do this now, because it used to be pressing, it wasn't just actions either. It was like emotions. I need to say this now. I can't sit here. I need to do this now. I need to have this feeling. Like, it wasn't just like my actions, or it wasn't just like money and stuff like that. But with medication, it's like I'm finally able to feel the urge, and it's still not intense at all, and I'm able to say, okay, wait, let me give that time. Because one of the most important things about having bipolar is giving things time, just to make sure it's a good idea, to make sure it's stable, to make sure you really like that person. It's just important to have time, and my medication has really allowed me to have regular time, to not have such crazy impulses, to just be able to sit my ass down. Another thing it's really helped with is obviously the intrusive thoughts, and believing them, but all of the polarization, the extremes. I no longer really suffer from those extremes, that anxiety, which means, again, I'm not overthinking. I don't overthink as much. I'm able to maintain my schedules and my routines without feeling bored and without feeling like I need to completely switch up my whole life, which is it's amazing. I've been really consistent in terms of my schedule. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays doing things, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday doing specific things. And it's not like specific things, but like I have a content day, and I have like a day for sacred wisdom, and I have a day for learning, and I get to do what I want in those times. But it's everybody needs a schedule. People, especially with bipolar, need that schedule and stability. They need routine, and so I've really been able to stick to my routines, which is great. I have been really great with communication. Whew. Communication, I've gotten really effective at that, and that comes with also controlling my impulses and not having so much emotional turbulence. I can finally have boundaries and not feel like everything is so intense, so that's nice. What's another thing? Life after medication. I'm able to really just be gentle with myself. I'm also able to catch myself and I have a new self-awareness of when I'm moving into a depressive episode, when I'm moving into a manic episodes. Medication doesn't completely eradicate those. You will still get sick at times. It just won't be as intense, and like for me, I can catch it so that I'm working to alleviate and assist myself so it doesn't get bad really at all. That's really helpful. Sometimes I have breakthrough episodes where it's like, if something like sudden happens, like I'm abruptly taken out of a situation, someone abruptly leaves, then like I'll get triggered. Like the triggers still exist. It's just now it's much easier for me to navigate them, to navigate my emotions, to navigate the triggers, to navigate my thoughts. And that is obviously a huge deal for me. So much less irritable. I'm less irritable. I'm really able to calm myself down. And just, it's really helped me have better character. There are definitely rough days, hard days, but it's really helped me. Overall, my medication, post life after medication, has been pretty much like this. I do have some whoop, 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 and I think I recently got out of a depressive episode, because before that I was in a manic episode. I had gotten, I think, used to my medication or something like that, and I was really going through an episode, but it was sparked by my relationship, because relationships can really do a number. It can be really hard, difficult to engage in relationships sometimes. So I was kind of up and down with triggers and stuff like that, so it was really difficult for me, but I finally am able to ground and whatnot. Aside from that, one thing about medication is that it helps you come above the water. So for so long, I didn't even realize I was underwater, but when I received my medication, it felt like I was finally normal. And finally, and not to say like I'm not normal. Like, I'm normal. I've always been normal. But it finally felt like I was at a baseline to where I could build upon that and have a level of self-care that gets so high that I am good, that it won't feel like I'm depleted. And so finally, after medication, it can kind of feel boring because it's not as intense. You're used to intense emotions, you're used to a ton of things happening, and now it's like, oh, life is good. What do I do? I remember for days I didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, what do I do? No thoughts, just vibes. So you have to actually, which sounds crazy, right? You actually have to cultivate a new life for yourself. You have to go out of your way to experience joy. You don't realize how high your threshold is for joy, and by high I mean like how much it takes to just feel happy. You don't realize how high that is until you are above water. You don't realize how depressed you've been, or how much you've been really going through it, because you've been going through it. So with after medication, I've now learned like how to keep myself busy still, and find joy in things, and just, oh yeah, it's also helped me to like sit my ass down and not have too many, like, I don't procrastinate much. I write down my schedule for the next day on my board every single day. I mark off my calendar. Like, it's really helped me with the cognitive dysfunction and the executive dysfunction so fucking much. Thank God. Anyway, what was I? So yeah, you actually have to cultivate a healthy healing lifestyle for yourself. And again, like, that's why I said before medication, I had already started doing all that stuff. Even though it was hard as fuck, I started doing it. So now on medication, it's like a lot easier to cultivate that joy and to do these things and have it not feel so heavy or hard. Now it feels light and like it's adding to me, rather than something I need to do or something that's like kind of draining. So yeah, after medication, you really get the opportunity to be above water and to actually be able to swim and float. And that can be a very odd feeling. But once you get used to it, it's like, okay, cool. I'm good. I'm grounded. I can engage with people. I've had good days for days. I've had like 5 days in a row that are good, that feel good. It's like, that is so cool. And I know that might not like, for people that maybe don't experience what I experience as bipolar, that might not seem like, oh, like that might be like 5 days. But that's a lot for me. So just being able to have consistently cool days is really nice. And yeah, so medication for me has been really great, really grounding, really stable. I've been able to cultivate new relationships. Oh my God, that's something that I didn't even mention. Relationships. I have a newfound sense of like confidence, which is, again, I did not realize that when I was depressed. I thought I was an introvert, okay? But when I was in high school, I was like definitely an extrovert. So I was like, what the fuck happened? When I gave birth, I stopped talking to people. I really like shut down, got isolated, and I didn't realize that I had postpartum anxiety and depression, and it just kept going. And it triggered a lot in me. I was like stuttering. I was so nervous to talk to people. And ever since before my medication, I've been so introverted and nervous to talk to people and nervous to meet up with different creators and stuff like that. And ever since my medication, it's like I can go out and be myself. I can have fun. And part of me is like, dang, that sucks for everybody that's met me, where in the past like 2 years, where I just have been so not myself and so quiet and so reserved, and where I haven't really showed up fully. It sucks, right? For the people who experience that, or it just sucks. I hate that. But now I'm really extroverted and excitable and able to really talk to people, and it feels nice to basically be a part of society again. Yeah, so that is another great thing that has come with medication, just my improved relationships and my improved sense of self and my self-esteem and my ability to go out, walk out, and be the best version of myself. I absolutely love that. I don't feel shy, I don't feel introverted, I just feel like myself again, which is such a great feeling. But yeah, overall, medication has been a blessing for me. I've definitely had my hiccups. We tried to add one specific medication that really did not fit. It was, so I'm on a mood stabilizer. And the mood stabilizer, I'm seeing such a Gemini moon right now. Anyways, the mood stabilizers I really like, mainly because they don't have too many side effects. It's an anti-seizure medication. So it's just really more of a grounding one. It works to lift the depression rather than suppress the mania, which is good, or was good for me for a really long time, because I could still be my excitable, joyful self. I didn't feel I didn't feel depleted in any way. I didn't feel like some people say that they feel like they're not themselves, or like they're boring or something like that. No, I didn't feel any of that, just because the depression was lifted, so I could just be myself again. However, we started adding one medication because the mania was starting to get to like a really high point where the mania was sending me into the depression again. So we added one. It was an antipsychotic to really calm my mind down, but I didn't really like that one. So I ended up sticking with this medication because as I gave it more time, it started to work pretty well with my body, and now I am maintaining it. So I guess sometimes you just gotta see how it goes, and I decided to maintain it after about 2 weeks of being on it. And so we're not doing it at the moment. I don't really like antipsychotics. I'm starting to realize I don't really like I haven't been on an antidepressant, but I don't like what people say about it. I don't like antipsychotics. I really just like my mood stabilizer. Yeah, things change. But I'm still on the fence. I'm still trying to figure out how I like this one. And I'm totally down to like do like my mood stabilizer and like CBD or something that could really calm my mind. I am completely okay and open to stuff like that. Oh my god, it's been 22 minutes. Okay, anyways, I need to get off this camera. But yeah, life after medication, it's been definitely for me more so ups. I know that people experience lows, and you really just have to find what medication is for you. You really do, because you know, try different things, try different ones, don't give up. And eventually, if it's too much for you, then sure, give up. But for me, it's been pretty good. I'm really glad that they started with me with the mood stabilizer, just because it seems like it's really more chill, which I appreciate, okay? So I really love my medication. I would say overall, work to cultivate a healthy lifestyle again. Now that you're above water, if you're taking medication, really cultivate that routine. It'll be a lot easier to do so. So definitely do so. That's my 8-month update. I think if I have any adjustments, I will let you guys know, but I'm thankful that I am on my medication at this moment. It's really helped me in all areas of my life. Financially, I have learned a lot of things. In my relationships, in my work, it's really helped me in terms of getting myself ready during the day, finding that self-worth and that confidence. I feel like a completely new person, so I'm really thankful for that. Like, I'm not nervous on camera anymore. Like, that's pretty fucking cool. I'm still nervous when I do certain things, like dancing in front of the motherfucking camera. I had dance class. But anyway, we'll get there. But yeah, just so much more outgoing and fun and confident in like what I'm wearing and what I'm doing, and I'm really thankful for that. So yes, that's my 8-month update for my medication. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope it was helpful to somebody, or maybe just anybody who just wanted to peek into my life for a little bit. I don't know. But thank you guys for watching this video. I will see you guys soon, and